Welcome to the Wild Crone Wisdom podcast with your host, Vinutha Mohan. In this episode, we explore how sacred rituals can give us meaning, purpose, and community, and the three things that need to be in place for rituals to endure. Spring brings more than blooming flowers. It brings celebration. My calendar has been overflowing with invitations. Weddings, engagements, baby showers, housewarmings. Each event reminds me of how deeply rituals are woven into the fabric of Indian life. Indian weddings, for instance, have become increasingly popular in America. Maybe it's the color, the joy, the music, or perhaps it's the meaning embedded in every ritual. Rituals have always been very meaningful to me. In my culture, every occasion is marked by many meaningful rituals, and the community comes together to honor such rituals. These rituals aren't just traditions, they are touchstones of identity. Some are daily, like lighting a lamp at dawn or dusk. Others mark life's milestones: birth, graduation, marriage, death. One ritual, especially close to my heart, is celebrating Diwali or Deepavali as it's called in the south of India. Diwali means festival of lights. It symbolizes at its core victory of light over darkness, good over evil, justice over injustice. In India, the entire country is lit with diyas or lamps. In the south, we celebrate this festival in the morning, and in the north in the evening. Growing up predominantly in the south, every household was a hustle and bustle of activity around Diwali. Days before the festival, homes were scrubbed clean, sometimes painted anew. Neighbors came together to make sweets and snacks in a makeshift community kitchen. We would buy new clothes, special, because for most of us, that only happened on three occasions: Diwali, birthdays, and weddings. It's not like ordering the latest fashion on Prime every other week that we see these days. We also got firecrackers, which were carefully kept dry so we could get maximum effect. On the morning of Deepavali, we all woke up at 4 a.m., barely able to keep our eyes open. There was a race in the neighborhood as to who would light the first firecracker. My dad, who was highly competitive by nature, never wanted to lose this race. So he dragged us out of bed at 4 a.m. and rushed us into the bathroom for hot oil baths, which we were given ceremoniously. Thereupon, we adorned ourselves in our new clothes and rushed to light the first firecrackers. We were the loudest and the earliest each year. Then followed a whole day of celebrations, visiting all our friends in the neighborhood, exchanging sweets and snacks, a huge feast for lunch, followed by carb coma, evening lamps, visit to the temples, and finally reminiscing about the day's events with friends late into the evening. Since moving to the US 3 decades ago, I've never been able to celebrate Diwali in India again. And no matter how hard I've tried to recreate the rituals here, hosting Diwali parties, cooking traditional meals, it's never felt the same. My kids, despite my best efforts, never quite connected with it the way my husband and I did. I used to feel disappointed by that. But then I came across a book by Jonathan Haidt called The Happiness Hypothesis. In it, he explains what makes rituals truly sacred and enduring. According to his research, three things are essential: symbolism, tradition plus physical experience, and number 3, community endorsement and shared practice over time. And suddenly it clicked. The missing piece wasn't effort or intention, it was community. Sacred rituals have always been very near and dear to my heart, having grown up in a religious culture and family. Rituals are very important when raising our children and when teaching them about their cultural roots. Take a daily sacred ritual from India, worshipping the tulsi plant or holy basil. It's practiced across the country regardless of region. Homes build a special space for the plant, often painted red, a sacred color, with a built in holder for a lamp. Each morning after bathing, women water the plant, offer prayers, and circle it 3 times. At precisely 6 p.m., a lamp is lit at its base. Even now, I hear my grandfather's voice in my head each evening. Mother, please light the tulsi lamp. And I do, here in my home, honoring both him and my grandmother. Let's apply Haidt's principles to this ritual. Number 1, symbolism. The tulsi represents prosperity, purity, and fidelity. Number 2, tradition and physical sensations. From the scent of the incense to the texture of the flower petals, all 5 senses are engaged. And number 3, community. In India, this ritual is reinforced by everyone around you. It becomes a shared rhythm, a collective heartbeat. This book finally helped me realize why all these sacred rituals from my culture are so much easier to honor it in my own country. As I previously mentioned, across India, in all traditions, this sacred ritual is honored. In fact, my first boss during my summer internship in India was of Christian faith from Goa. Her family had converted to Christianity a few generations ago, but they still maintained certain Hindu rituals, one of which was worshipping the tulsi plant. In our daily worship in India, all 5 senses are fed: lighting of the lamp, a sacred plant, an idol, a sacred cow, or all a feast for the eyes and symbols of the sacred. The bells that are rung and the hymns chanted are sacred to the ears. The smell of the flower garlands and incense are intoxicating to the nose. The softness of the rose petals and other flowers as we offer the sacred symbol is gentle against the skin. And the consecrated food offerings are delicious to the tongue. So, per Haidt's research, symbolism, tradition, and physical sensations are satisfied through this ritual. Finally, there is a community all around you that endorses the traditions and the rituals and encourages practice over time. Everyone is practicing it and it becomes part of your DNA over time. When I tried to pass on these traditions to my children here in the US, I lacked that crucial third element: a community that recognizes, values, and reinforces the ritual. My kids were growing up in a culture where holidays or festivals like Diwali weren't acknowledged, where schools remained open and workplaces didn't pause for these festivals. Can you imagine working a 10-hour day on Christmas? As Brene Brown says, in places like Silicon Valley, the only status symbols are productivity and exhaustion. There's little space for ritual, for sacred pause. And yet, rituals are where meaning lives. They ground us. They connect us across generations. They remind us who we are and where we come from. So when I think about what we are losing, not just as immigrants, but as a global culture, I feel a sense of urgency. Without symbolism, tradition, and community, sacred rituals fade away. And with them, we risk losing the very things that give life depth, connection, and purpose. Let us remember, rituals are not just about the past. They are about the future. They are how we raise children rooted in our cultures, how we honor aging elders, and how we hold on to what matters most in a world that's moving ever faster. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wild Crone Wisdom with your host Vinutha Mohan. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist from the Bay Area, California, specializing in trauma and attachment repair. I'm also a certified EMDR specialist and a certified shamanic practitioner. In this podcast series, we delve into the journey of our spiritual essence having a human experience. While many social scientists study human emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, and others explore transcendental experiences, few bridge the gap to help embody the spiritual wisdom in everyday life. I call this the psycho-spiritual path. Through this podcast, I hope to share bite-sized practical insights for navigating life as an empowered sovereign being. If you found this episode valuable, we'd greatly appreciate your support. Please consider rating, reviewing, commenting, and subscribing on your podcast platform to help us reach a wider audience. You can explore more of my writings on Medium by following the link in the show notes. We'd also love to hear about your experience, so feel free to share your thoughts with us at Wild Crone Wisdom Podcast at gmail.com. Thank you for being part of our journey. Please be advised the information provided in the Wild Crone Wisdom podcast is intended for general information purposes only. Vinutha Mohan is a licensed therapist and healer. However, the content shared in this podcast does not replace or constitute professional advice, therapy, or counseling. It is essential to consult with a qualified mental health professional for personalized guidance regarding your unique circumstances. Thank you.